How's it going? I'm Martin. I'm joined by my cat, Rafi, today. And today we're talking about a topic that I really love and I'm passionate about. And we're going to be doing that with the help of Stephen King. And we're talking about writing. This is a book that Stephen King published in 2000. And it's his tips, essentially, on how to become a decent writer. And I thought I would share some of those tips that really resonated with me and might help you if you're interested in it, whether it's related to writing, which is primarily what it is about, but I'm sure it can translate into other domains as well. So the first thing that I would want to bring up is that to be a writer, you need to write a lot and you need to read a lot. And this notion of reading a lot transfers into a lot of his other tips, I would say. So to be able to become a good storyteller, you need to read a lot of stories. I think it makes decent sense to get a feel for what really works, what captivates you, what moves you. And reading other work is the best way of doing that. I don't think there are any writers out there that are not readers. At least there are very few. And practically all the good writers that we know of have been great readers and admirers of literature, as well as talented writers. And this idea of writing a lot is also incredibly important. Practice makes perfect, right? And Stephen King also says that it's a very good idea to write consistently and to set a goal that you follow every day, right? So I think in his book, he mentions that he tries to get around 2,000 words or 8 or 10 pages per day when he's writing, and he does that every day. And he sort of starts his day by doing that essentially, which is not possible for everyone because people have work and jobs. But this idea of consistently pouring in effort to write every day and to set a goal that you're hitting will go a great and long way in developing you as a writer. There's no doubt about it. I remember reading Stephen Pressfield's work, The War of Art, I think it was called, something like that, where he says that you need discipline and you need to set aside that time to let the muse do its work, which is sort of derived from, I think, the Greek tradition, where you're sort of a conduit of the muse's work, whether that is, lyrical, poetical, whatever it may be. What you're supposed to do is to sort of sit down, be disciplined, and do the work, and then you let whatever it is that it is inside of you work through you. And you can only let this happen by being disciplined and consistent and writing every day in the periods that you're choosing to write. I think Stephen King also believes in the muse, just so that's put on the record as well. The third thing is to bring a book wherever you go. For me, this is very easy. I always try to do this because I love reading. But I think it's a very good point. Almost anywhere you are, when you're traveling to work, to school, whatever it may be, or there is some break at your studies, at work, where you can just pull up your book and you can do a little bit of reading. And there's no really excuse for not being able to do that, I think. I mean, perhaps if you have a really hard manual labor work, but even then, when you have breaks, you're still able to read. Perhaps you'll be deemed antisocial by your co-workers, but but that doesn't matter. If you want to become a great writer, then you need to read and you need to take all those moments that you have. Even if you're eating dinner by yourself, it's a great time to read. The fourth thing is about dialogue. And dialogue is really important in writing. and in storytelling, to create genuine dialogue can be very difficult. And one of the key things to be able to create good dialogue is that you need to listen in your daily life. You need to listen to the way people speak and the way they sort of carry themselves, the way they communicate. Because if you don't do that, then you'll have no idea how to portray that in your story in a genuine manner, right? And that's a key insight, which also translates into psychoanalysis, which is this idea of truly listening when someone speaks, to hear what they say, because a lot of times people are not really listening, they're just trying to gauge, oh, what is this person saying, and then trying to come up with what they're going to be saying. But don't do that. Ernest Hemingway also said this, just be present and listen to what this person is actually telling you. That's a gift to the other person, but also to yourself. And if you want to become a good writer, well, then you should also be really actively listening, as Carl Rogers says. The last thing is to write about things that you know and to be honest. You have to be a bit vulnerable when you're writing if you want to create a work that is compelling to people, that is genuinely interesting for someone to read. They need to be able to sense that it comes from your heart in a way. I think, Stephen King believes that is key, to sort of be really honest with the audience when you write. And part of that is writing what you know about. I mean, you need to speak from your own experiences. It's very difficult, let's say, to create a story of an astronaut if you're a political science student. You know what I'm saying? That's probably not going to be a truly compelling story, because you have no idea what it's really like to be an astronaut. And you can list off a number of examples, but the idea is to sort of try and come from places that you have experienced yourself, because that goes a long way in creating something that is genuine and honest. So I think those are the main takeaways that I had from Stephen King's On Writing book. It's a brilliant book. Highly recommend it if you're interested in writing. And I hope that this little video is a little bit enlightening or at least interesting. Have a wonderful day.